1943. The world is at war. Supplies are scarce. Trust is thinner than ever. And inside American factories, something strange begins to happen. Tools vanish, fuel disappears, weapons parts go missing, not from enemy bombs, from ordinary people. Workers, guards, drivers, desperate, opportunistic, invisible, but instead of hiring more guards, instead of installing more locks, officials deployed something far more unsettling, a trick, a silent alarm, and the most disturbing part, it didn't make a sound. During World War II, industrial theft wasn't just petty crime, it was sabotage risk. Every missing bolt could delay a plane. Every siphoned gallon of fuel could stall a tank. The United States government needed a deterrent, fast, not a louder alarm, not more patrols. They needed fear, but not obvious fear, psychological fear. Security experts in 1943 began experimenting with a behavioral concept, the perception of surveillance. Not actual surveillance, perceived surveillance. In several wartime factories, management quietly spread a rumour. A new detection system had been installed. It was described as experimental, undetectable, always watching. No one saw wires, no one heard sirens, but posters appeared. The silent alarm sees all. The system knows. Think before you act. There was no system. That's the secret. In high-stress environments like wartime production, people expect innovation. They expect secrecy. So when authority implies advanced monitoring, well, the brain fills in the gaps. Psychologists today call this the observer effect bias. Behavior changes when people believe they are being watched. But back in 1943, they didn't need the term. They had results. Reports showed internal theft dropped, in some factories by nearly 35% within months. And that was without adding a single real alarm. Here's where it gets darker. The trick wasn't just that workers thought they were being watched, it's that they didn't know how. Was it cameras, hidden scales, inventory trackers, undercover agents? No one knew. And you see, uncertainty is more powerful than certainty. When you know where the camera is, you avoid the camera. But when you don't know where it is, you behave as if it's everywhere. That's the genius of the 1943 silent alarm. Decades later, behavioral scientists would prove this effect repeatedly. In one famous experiment, simply placing images of eyes above an honesty box dramatically increased contributions. No cameras, just eyes. The brain reacts to the suggestion of observation, even if it's symbolic. In 1943, factory managers stumbled onto something profound. The human mind polices itself when it feels observed. And during wartime, when consequences felt severe, that internal policing intensified. Here's the uncomfortable question. Is it manipulation? Workers were led to believe in a technology that didn't exist. There was no transparent disclosure, just strategic ambiguity. But consider the context. This was wartime. Factories fed battlefields. The stakes weren't corporate profits, they were survival. Still, the tactic raises a modern dilemma. How much of security is real, and how much is theatre? You might think the silent alarm trick ended in 1945. It didn't. Look around. Retail stores place signs that say, Smile, you're on camera, even where cameras don't exist. Neighborhoods install fake security cameras. Office buildings display badge scanners that aren't always active. Websites flash warnings. Your activity is being monitored. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. The 1943 principle lives on. Now, imagine this concept in the age of data. Online platforms don't actually need to watch you all the time. They just need you to believe they can. The idea that, clicks are tracked, messages are logged, searches are recorded. Whether you're really being monitored in real time or not, well, that becomes irrelevant. Perception shapes behavior. The silent alarm has gone digital. Because honestly, human psychology hasn't changed. We fear unseen judgment. We adjust our behavior under perceived scrutiny. We're wired for reputation management, even in anonymous spaces. That wiring evolved long before factories, long before war, long before 1943. The silent alarm didn't invent this instinct. It weaponized it. Here's something that's rarely discussed. The trick works best when it's never confirmed. If management had just admitted there is no system, theft would spike overnight. If they proved a real system existed, people would just look for its blind spots. But by staying ambiguous, they preserve power. Ambiguity creates compliance. Certainty, on the other hand, invites challenge. Could it backfire? Absolutely. If workers discover the illusion, trust erodes, morale collapses, authority weakens. That's the risk of psychological security measures. They rely on belief, and well, belief is fragile. In 1943, the silent alarm protected wartime supply chains. Today, similar tactics protect stores, offices, websites, even neighborhoods. But here's the question that really lingers. If behavior can be shaped by invisible observation, how often are we responding to systems that aren't even there? How many warnings are just strategic theatre? How much of modern security is, perception engineering? And more importantly, if you knew an alarm didn't exist, would you behave differently? The most powerful alarm ever created never made a sound.